know who we are. You know who we are. We are QPR.
This video will look back at the 1969-70 season as QPR looked to win promotion back to the top flight. We began the decade with a home FA Cup tie against South Shields, and it was a comfortable win. Rodney Marsh returned from suspension and scored 2 goals in a 4-1 win. A draw with Swindon followed before Marsh got the winner against Cardiff, but the promotion push was starting to fade a little as we struggled to find consistency. The fourth round of the FA Cup was a London derby away to Charlton in front of over 30,000 fans. Rangers got off to a terrible start, going 2-0 down in the first half an hour. They were being completely outclassed. But then Rodney Marsh turned the game on its head. He scored twice before half-time to draw us level, before setting up Frank Clark to score the winner. The Charlton fans left en masse, and chants of "Rodney, Rodney" echoed around the open spaces of the valley. That win was sandwiched between league defeats at Huddersfield and Middlesbrough, so it felt like 1 step forward and 2 back for QPR. After winning the League Cup just 3 years earlier, there was hope of another trip to Wembley in the FA Cup, and we faced Derby County at home in the 5th round, looking to cause an upset.
FA Cup 5th round, Queen's Park Rangers versus Derby County. Rangers, playing left to right, opened with a series of attacks which rattled Derby's defence, but the County were not to be overwhelmed by their aggressive London opponents. Robson sent a useful pass out to the left, where Hinton put it across into the danger zone. When it came loose, it went to Rodney Marsh, the magician of the match. Derby closed ranks. Derby survived that raid and countered with one of their own. McGovern's effort came to nothing. The ball ran to the home team. They set off on another raid. Green couldn't hold it, but luck was with him. His defensive partners cleared upfield. But Rangers regained possession. Watson hit the bar. Rangers came back again. Marsh put the ball in the net, but he'd handled it. No goal. And so at half-time, it was a goalless draw. Play resumed with Derby having a real go. Rangers were flagging after so much frustration, but Kelly made a marvellous save. Rangers were shaken up by that near miss and were stung into retaliation. The ball went to Clark. His half-hearted shot hit Mackay on its way and just rolled past a helpless Green. What a tragedy for Mackay. For Rangers and their supporters, it was the goal they'd been waiting for. With a 1-0 victory, Queen's Park Rangers go on to beat Chelsea in the next round.
So into the quarterfinals, and the cup run had a positive effect on the league with a 2-1 win at Hull, moving Rangers back into 2nd place. The excitement was at fever pitch for the FA Cup, as the quarterfinals saw Chelsea visit Loftus Road for a big local derby and a chance to reach the semi-finals. The club decided that you would qualify for a ticket if you had a programme for that derby match, and they would go on sale on the Saturday we were away at Hull. Tickets were held back for any fan who actually travelled to Hull. What was not taken into account was that Chelsea were at home to Liverpool that day, and the match was postponed due to a waterlogged pitch. All spare copies of that derby programme seemed to be sold to their fans, and the ticket queue for Loftus Road went back as far as Bloemfontein Road. QPR fans were certainly outnumbered on the big day. On the Tuesday before the Chelsea game, we played at home to Norwich and produced a 4-0 win, thanks to goals from Venables, Clark, Marsh, and a 20th of the season for Barry Bridges. But one big moment that night was an injury to Frank Clark, who was on the end of an awful tackle. So Mick Leach had to start up front against Chelsea, and Rangers certainly missed Clark in what would be their biggest game of the season so far.
Oh, look at this good positioning here by Webb for Chelsea. And a nice little pass there for Hollins. And 2 men are waiting in the middle. There's a deflection there! And a good goal there by Webb! And what a fine goal it was! That was the start that Chelsea Chelsea wanted. And only 6.5 minutes gone. David Webb puts them ahead. Now Bridges. Marsh waiting in the middle, but it won't come through to him. Ferguson trying to make up ground on it, but now Webb again. Webb, who loves nothing more than to come storming forward into the penalty area. He always comes forward for free kicks and for corners, but he took up a superb position there. But now it's Cook, and Osgood completely free. Number 2 by Peter Osgood. And that really is a heartbreaking start for Rangers. Chelsea now 2 up in 7.5 minutes. First by Webb, and then by Osgood. Leach. Clement. And Bridges. It's floating over McCready's head. Bridges. Now what is this? It's a penalty to Queen's Park Rangers, I think. And Venables is a man who rarely misses from the spot. He scored here from the spot last Tuesday night, from that very spot, against Norwich City in the Cup, in the league rather. Now it's Venables against Bonetti in the Cup. And he saved it! Bonetti saves it! Oh, it really is a tragedy there, but in fact the referee now having a word with the linesman. Did Bonetti perhaps move first? He's got to take it again. He's got to take it again. Osgood and Harris don't like it. I would wonder what's going through Venables' mind now. So Venables against Bonetti, part 2. And there it is, 2-1. And still the Chelsea players don't like it. But Venables is happy, so are Rangers, because they are right back in it now. And now to Leach. Leach for Watson, and a good run by him. Can he get it back? Bridges! Oh my goodness! That really was a superb header by Bridges. And McCready was getting a fair bit of stick from his skipper Ronnie Harris for not sticking closer to Bridges. But Bridges moved with such tremendous pace. Hutchinson, oh Hollins, with a shot and a good save, and he must be it! Osgood! Tremendous shot by Hollins, and Kelly couldn't hold it. And Osgood's second one. And Osgood, who scored in every round of the Cup for Chelsea this season, he's got 2 in this game. Watson. Ferguson. Hazel. And now Hudson. Osgood. Finding Hudson again. A long one, hoping to get Houseman going, and by courtesy of Clement, he is away. Houseman. Oh, good save! And a good interception there by Clement. And there's a fair bit of pushing and shoving there between Gillard and Hutchinson. Hudson pumping in it again, and the linesman flag goes up. And Osgood, but the linesman had his flag up. The linesman certainly had his flag up before that was put away. So now Chelsea put themselves well clear. And a hat-trick, of course, to Peter Osgood. Clement to Bridges. Marsh. So little seen of Rodney Marsh this afternoon, but there's a fair-looking ball there. Bridges, can he turn it in? He can! For a fine goal by Bridges!
So a good effort from Rangers, but an end to our cup run, and it was now all about the league. Defeat at Sheffield United saw us drop down to 4th place, but we quickly recovered, thrashing Aston Villa 4-2 at Loftus Road and moving back into the top 2. Doubles for Marsh and Bridges helping us get that win over Villa. So as February ended, we sat in 2nd place with all to play for. A return to the top flight, still a strong possibility for this QPR team. Barry Bridges led the scoring charts with 23 goals. Rodney Marsh now had 20 for the season, his best return since the 1966-67 season. March began with a home game against Bolton, which proved to be an absolute disaster. Rangers lost 4-0, but more worryingly suffered injuries to goalkeeper Mike Kelly, as well as key forward Frank Clark and defender Dave Clement, and none of them would be available again for the rest of the season. Without Clark, Rangers found goals hard to come by and drew 0-0 against Oxford, which saw Rangers drop from 2nd in the table down to 7th in what was a very tight division. Over Easter, we faced a pivotal week with 4 games in 8 days. The first of them was on Good Friday and saw us draw 0-0 again, this time at Carlisle. The following day, it was Bristol City at home. Jerry Francis scored his 2nd goal of the season, whilst Barry Bridges got his 24th. But it was not enough. Rangers drew 2-2, and the promotion dream was looking all but over. We ended March with a midweek trip to Charlton, where Ian Watson scored for QPR, but it was again not enough, and it was 4 draws in a row, leaving the Valley with a 1-1 draw. During our poor run, Blackpool had sneaked into 2nd place, and a trip to the seaside to face them was probably our last chance to close the gap and get back in the race. Mick Leach scored for Rangers, but it was another draw, and the promotion dream was all but over. We ended the season with back-to-back defeats against Blackburn and Leicester, making it 8 games without a win, and finishing 8 points off the top 2 in 9th place. A season that had promised so much ended in huge disappointment. Huddersfield and Blackpool were promoted, whilst Preston and Aston Villa were relegated to the 3rd division. Tony Hazel made the most appearances for the team, playing in all 51 games that season, whilst Rodney Marsh featured 47 times and Barry Bridges 46. Bridges topped the goal-scoring charts with 24 goals, whilst Rodney Marsh added 21. Only Sheffield United and champions Huddersfield scored more goals than Rangers that season. So a disappointing end to the season, but after years in the 3rd division, QPR were now firmly established as a team pushing to be in the top flight. And despite that poor end to the season, it was becoming clear that there was a lot more to come from QPR over the next few years. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give us a like and subscribe to the channel.